I'm going to share my screen because I want to talk a little bit about what we're going to do that's new today. Uh-oh, it's not showing. Okay. There it is. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so basically this is an expansion. I'm seeing an expansion of the first. So people who haven't seen part one can watch that at the ITP channel. And the emphasis has been on strengthening the chi that supports our immunity, especially in the winter. So the main organ for winter is the water element of kidneys. And they're the roots of the body. They're we call it the door of life, because it's like where the chi gets stored. And if those kidneys are depleted, it weakens the whole body. Because everything, I'll show you the cycle of creation, how all of the organs interact with each other. It's a holistic system, Chinese medicine. So we need to charge our batteries up every day to stay healthy. And I want to read a little something I lifted off the internet about the kidneys and the water element. So they're energetic batteries of the body. When it's weak, the rest of the body's weak. Okay, kidneys store the water of life that gives rise to the rest of the bodily functions. And I won't go into all those, the anatomy of a kidney, just the energy part. So that's why we call it the door of life. They are related to the lungs very closely. Kidneys draw the breath deep, as if they are its very root. Since kidneys are the root of the breath, respiratory disease is often traced to a kidney imbalance. Only when the kidneys draw the breath all the way through the lungs do the lungs thrive. Deep breathing is a most vital exercise, not only for the lungs, but also for the kidneys and all the associated tissues. Belly breathing massages the organs and infuses them with qi. Since kidneys are associated with winter and water, it is said that healing life force enters deeply into the body during the cold, dark winter, and then comes forth to bloom and blossom in the spring. So the kidneys represent the depth and rootedness, and the Chinese say they carry our talents, our inherited purpose, our deeper meaning that's passed down from our ancestors. So, the belly is very associated, the hara is very associated with the kidneys, obviously. It's like we call it the hara in the back, right? The kidney area, or the door of life. And the other organ and meridian I want to focus on in the exercises today is the lungs, which is the metal. And I think that corresponds to air in our other element system that we do in Aikido. So metal, it has to do with the chi, the life force energy that comes from the breath. So breath is like a heavier, more gross form of this chi or prana or life force. So when we breathe deeply, we're, that breath, we're breathing in the chi as well. So Qigong uses the breath as a way to improve, cultivate, and transform energy in the body. Qigong movements are synchronized with the breath as a way to relax the body, strengthen the tendons, create flow and balanced energy. Qi is this life force energy, and the movements of Qigong are cultivating this life force. So when we move slowly, coordinating, synchronizing with the breath, that energy expands and is cultivated and stored in our body. The ultimate goal is to become soft, supple, strong, and responsive, and filled with this vital force. Although the exercises are very simple to perform, they're sophisticated and effective in reestablishing the harmony that we may have lost in ourselves and with our surroundings. So as you can see here, there's a lot of anatomy stuff, and not to look at that, but I just put this diagram because I wanted you to see where the thymus, because we're going to do some more thymus tapping. And the ribs come all the way around, obviously. They're cut off so we can see how far down the lungs go. And this is the diaphragm. So when we deep breathe, we're stretching and expanding our diaphragm. And that's massaging these tissues in, the heart, the lungs, and the liver and spleen, which is below the ribs on the right side and spleen on the left side. And maybe someday we'll get into those organs as well. So you can see all the little alveoli, or whatever they're called, the air sacs. The lungs are full of them, and the lungs are called the commanders of chi. So I put this here to review all of the breathing, but we don't need to do that because it's all written out here. But we're going to work a lot with the deep abdominal breathing, where we take a deep inhale. We do this, I think, when we start with Grace. Deep inhale through the nose and expand the belly. And when we exhale, we breathe through the mouth and contract the belly. That's sort of filling up and emptying out of our belly. A new breath that we'll start with is called the wave breathing, where we do the abdominal breathing. And then we focus our attention on that breath like a wave rising through the ribs and then up into the chest. And then as we exhale from the chest, down through the ribs, back to the belly. So the expanding and contracting is more up and down, whereas abdominal breathing, we're just focusing on in and out at the belly. Okay, well, fire breath is there, but the purging breath is the breath that we'll use, predominantly that and the nose breathing, just inhaling through the nose and exhaling from the nose. So again, the purge breathing is a long inhale through the nose, and then either pushing, or if you prefer, blowing out the exhale. And like Adelaide likes to do, you can do that. You can make, but we're going to do some healing sounds as well that go with the kidneys and with the lungs. So just a little diagram here that's kind of neat. The creation cycle is that the preceding element is the mother, or the nourisher, the supporter. They call it the mother-son cycle. So the mother of the lungs, which is the metal element, is the earth. But you could see here, down here, and this is like the fall and then the winter, these months of storing chi. So the commanders of chi, which is the metal element, is the mother of the door of life, or the batteries of our body, the roots of our body, which is the kidney, the water element. See that? So very important that when we work on our lungs, we're directly working with our kidneys, and vice versa. And this all goes with the seasons. We have winter, then spring, then summer, then late summer, then fall. And then the organs, you see the organ associations, and we could get into, there's a whole emotional component. So if you're feeling a lot of grief, which is the negative motion that goes with lungs, we can do the exercise we're going to do today for lungs. And if we're feeling a lot of fear, working with the kidneys. I just want to say, when I was doing the kata, I was very aware of these organs because I've been working on them all week. You could do your kata and be working with your kidneys, and with your lungs, because of all with the stretching and things. We're stretching all those meridians, just focusing the attention more on these organs will bring more chi and more awareness to those areas. Instead of just thinking I'm stretching the back of my legs or my back, you think the kidneys, and we're going to go into that soon. Okay, so I want to start with, first of all, any questions before we move into the exercises?
Yeah, Sue-Ann,
Uh-huh.
it's Tito. I just was wondering on that last slide, each of the organs has sort of some negatively valenced energies associated with it. Are there also positively valenced energies that could go
Yes,
on the
yes,
chart?
yes, there are. But I'm not focusing on emotions. But I just wanted to use this as an example. But
Oh,
you know, sadness, depression. The positive is courage and righteousness.
right.
Doing right.
Yeah,
And for
okay, that's good.
yeah, for kidneys, it's tranquility, the positive,
Mhm.
calmness, kind of steadiness, calm, deep. Because think of fright and fear. It's all, the energy going up into the head and freaking
Yeah.
out about something out there in our
Mhm.
heads. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of literature on this, Cheeto. I will, I'm going to show some books if we have time. I have a stack here that I culled through my library. It
okay,
has all of this information. There's a ton of
fantastic.
information.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, so we're going to start sitting just to learn the two healing sounds that go with the lungs, or the lungs of the mother and the kidneys of the son. So we'll start with the lungs. If you don't need to really see my legs for this, but sit, if you have a chair or sofa or whatever, but sit a little closer to the edge so your spine is free and your arms are free so you can lift them up. And you can see here, there's some information here, Jito, about the positive. You can see the virtues, it's called, and then the negative emotions.
Thanks.
Okay. So for the lungs, sit with your legs apart and settle down into your cheek or sit bones, your cheeks, so that your spine can rest above your hips. Drop your shoulders. Take a deep breath into your belly. And the sound is your tongue behind your teeth, and it's a S sound, S, tongue behind the teeth. Doesn't have to be real loud, just you want to feel that, the energy of that sound in your lungs. And if you, the color is white, if you want to visualize white light. And the exercise of the movement is to draw your hands up your center line as you breathe in. Really stretch your arms and flex your wrists so your palms are pushing up. And you want your arms to be back as far as they can go. So they're really stretched out. Your elbows are unlocked. And you look up and do this, the long drawn out S sound, like a snake. And breathe in and slowly exhale and let your hands come back to your center. I'm going to do a couple of those. You can always watch the video if you forget. And for the kidneys, bring your legs together, and we're going to interlace our fingers and wrap them around our knees. Okay, so you want to feel your back rounded, your chest caved in, your back is rounded, your shoulders relaxed, and the sound is, and the image is water rushing through a canyon. To really push out the chew and then let the ooh kind of flow out like a mantra. Okay, so take a nice deep breath in. Your head's up. Deep breath in, and we'll do a couple of chews. And you want to sink into your back. A couple more. You can let your back round deeper as you make the sound. And let's do one more. Deep breath. pushing out through your lower back. And come back to center, just feel your lower back where your kidneys are, and your lungs, your chest. Okay, now let's, I'm going to turn this off. And we'll find a comfortable spot on the floor, your space. Now, remember, you can do everything. Liz testified to this last week. You could do everything we're doing, pretty much. Maybe a couple things won't, but pretty much you can adapt it to your chair. Okay, you could even do some of this stuff lying down. Like wave breathing is way better lying down. So let's just feel the wave breathing for a moment. So putting a hand on your belly and a hand on your chest, right in the middle of your chest. And take it and bend the knees as you sink down. Let the lower back relax down. Take a deep breath in. Let the belly expand. Then feel the ribs expand, like it's just coming up slowly, like a big rising wave. Let the breath come up into the chest, all the way up to the collarbones. And then return that same pathway from the collarbones and chest down through the ribs, down to the hara, our deep belly. Let's try that one more time. Nice and slow. It's a wonderful breath if you're feeling uptight or unrelaxed, tense. So let's move on to the bringing your feet. Just come up a little bit on the toes, rocking on the feet, up on the toes, stretch the balls of the feet out. There's a kidney point when we do this calf raise, when you come up on your toes, you're stimulating the kidney 1 point called the bubbling springs. So you can visualize bubbling springs flowing up your legs as we do this. We did this last week. I call it balancing the 3 centers. So you're drawing your hands up, your interlaced fingers up, flip over above your head, extend and stretch through the body and lift through your bubbling springs. Hold your breath for a moment and then let it go, like flowing down. Bend the knees. We're going to draw up our chi from our bubbling springs. Looking up, I know it's challenging to balance. Stretch and let it go. We worked on this last week. One more time. Feel the bubbling springs, energy coming up the inside of the legs, up through the central channel, infusing the whole body and all of the centers with energy. And let it go. Feel the head relax, the chest, the belly, back to the ground, to the earth. Now we'll just do a little juicy. We have a pump in the ITP kata. This is a Qigong pump. Just start with letting your arms be relaxed and bouncing a bit with your knees. Let your knees sort of pulse, rock a little bit on the feet. So you're just feeling the weight of your arms, letting them come up and then dropping them. Now we're going to add the pump. So I'm just doing this because as you raise, you want to keep your arms heavy and relaxed. In Aikido, we call it weight underside. The energy of the movement comes from the feet pumping, feet, knees, and hips. So here's the next piece. So it's like a up, down rocking. Knees are pulsing. You go back and they straighten. You go forward, they straighten. Really let the breath out using a purging breath. You can let those arms swing up in the back. Just loosens everything up. And let it get a little smaller. And again, you don't have to go all the way down when you do this. If you have a back issue, it's called the pump. And feel the body. Now we're going to do our knocking on the door of life. The kidneys are located about where the crook of your elbow is. So when you wrap around and tap your kidney, see it hits right about there. That's where your kidneys are. And they're about the size of a fist. So you really want to give your kidneys a good tap. It energizes them, it relaxes them. And in the front, we're tapping our liver on the right side and spleen on the left. Purging breath. You can look to the sides if you want, or just stay centered, feeling the door of life getting stimulated, and the abdomen, the belt channel it's called. Now let one fist come up and tap the lung meridian, lung points begin there, right under the collarbone. Blow the air out. Using your hips to create this momentum so your arms can stay flowing and relaxed. Okay, now let's bring our hands down to our hara and our navel. Blow the air out. So this is a deep inhale, deep exhale as you blow the air out, or you can inhale, exhale through your nose. Liver on the right side, spleen on the left. And then we'll go around the intestines, reproductive organs, the direction of our digestive peristalsis. And I'm going to show you a new kind of way to tap the organs is with the claws. I love this. You can get in there. So you can do it like that, or use your knocking fist. Let's come on up to the chest. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Let if there's any grief in there. Breathe in the white light. Exhale the smoky dark light. Now let's focus on the thymus, which is right under the middle of the sternum bone. Knock, knock, knock. Really breathe in and hold and do it a little faster. And then brush down to purge. Let's do that again. So make sure you're comfortable in your feet or sitting. Deep breath, hold. Faster. And brush it down. Should let go. Just feel the energy of the front of our body, of our lungs and our belly and our kidneys. It's kind of when we sort of pause to feel, you can hold the chi ball right in front of your hara. Feel the energy between the hands. And with your energized hands, make them into crane's beaks, they're called. Tap the cheekbones. Very good immunity points here. And we're going to go up to the temple, both sides. Tap lightly or feel what feels good. And your third eye. Good headache points here. Tapping can help dissipate any kind of tension. And now let's go up to the crown, back of the head, top back of the head. Kind of feel around, very important point there, center there. Now with both hands, you can spread your claws out and do your whole scalp. You could rub, make circles, or just tap. Anywhere you go on your scalp, on your head, you're going to hit points. There are points everywhere. Around the ears. Now, speaking of ears, grab your lobes and pull them down. Maybe you feel your ears have gotten hot from this work. Pull the curl of the ear out as you squeeze the curl. So it's like a squeezing and pulling. Can kind of make it feel like a little circular massage as you go down the curl to the lobes. Pull again, we'll go back up. The ears are very connected to the kidneys. So you work on your ears, it'll help your kidneys. Work on your kidneys, it'll help your hearing, your ears. Now let's do a little different rubbing of the ears than last time. We just rubbed really fast and hard, and that's a really nice way to stimulate the ears. Here's just a different method. So you're gonna rub back, and when you rub forward, you're curling your ear. So you rub back, and then you fold your ear as you rub forward, like that. So try that a couple of times with a purging breath. It's better if you don't have a lot of hair in the way. And just hold lightly over your ears, not touching, just feeling. Feel that white light entering through the lungs and just spreading through the body. Coming back to our hara, holding a chi ball. Now we're going to come to the armpit. This is the heart, the beginning of the heart meridian, but it's got a lot of glands, or lymph nodes rather, that are very important for immunity. So you're chopping with your, it's like a chop, make a chop hand, but you're chopping with the thumb side. I like to aim my index knuckle right in the center of my armpit to stimulate that point. And then down the side. We'll do the other side. Mind you, I'm rushing through this a little bit. I'd rather go, I mean, tapping is kind of quick, purging and tapping. I like to usually do more rounds. Okay, so just feeling. Now we're going to do a lung exercise with the healing sound for lungs. It's really simple. You can do this easily in your chair. Holding your chi ball in front of your hara. Feel your stance is nice and solid and balanced. We'll raise up to chest level. And as you expand sideways, your hands turn, open the chest. And as we come forward, we're going to make this sound. Close the meridians of the lungs are at the index and the lungs, thumb, sorry. And so we turn our hands over and do the sound. Deep breath in and open the hands. And turn, make those mudras, closing, and make this as you breathe out. You inhale the white light into the lungs, pure chi. Exhale dark energy, and you can cave your chest a little bit and squeeze open and turn and squeeze the chest. Squeeze out the dark energy. And now bring your hands back to your hara. Feel white light circulating through your lungs. So the meridians go down and into the ends of the thumb. The corresponding large intestine goes into the index. So you're stimulating, supporting, holding in that energy while you do the sound. Do one more lung supportive exercise. So you want to bend your knees a little bit. Your hands are going to come up, back as you open the chest and lean back and look up and wiggle your thumbs. Okay, you can make the sound here. Again, don't go, just go as far as it's comfortable. So you have a nice support of your base. Then we come forward slowly. We swing our arms back, wiggle our thumbs. Do the healing sound. And as we come up, we pulse. This is called pulsing the chi. Pulsing the chi. And then we go back again. Open, really twist the arms. Wiggle the thumbs. So you're opening the chest to the sky and making the healing sound. Sink down. Support of your legs. Bend forward. Bring your hands up as far as comfortable. Wiggle the thumbs. Make the sound. And as we rise, we push up from our feet and legs. Pulse the chi. Okay. And bring your hands to your kidneys now. Just holding the kidneys. Remember the kidneys, as far up as we can hold, they're about at the level of the crease of our elbows. And we're gonna, before we tap them, you can do that. But I'm just gonna show you nourishing circles. It's called nourishing circles. They're going in, up and around for the kidneys. Okay? In toward the spine, up and around. And you're rubbing kind of deep as you can. And you can also do this because kidneys is also this sacrum, all the way down to the sacrum. So you could do this. And when you tap, you want to tap all the way down to the sacrum. Okay, let's just do a round of tapping down to the sacrum. Because that, remember, the roots grow downward. Okay. So we start at the kidneys. We want to guide the energy to go rooted deeper into the earth. Okay. Now for the kidney, good kidney exercise, standing with your feet shoulder width and the knees a little bent. It's like our balancing the three centers that we started with. We come up and this is another sort of door of life, opening the door of life kind of exercise. So instead of thinking about stretching your hamstrings or your back, we are, as we go forward here slowly, very slowly, bend the knees. What we're doing is we're massaging the kidneys. The muscles are kind of squishing into the kidneys. And you can probably feel that. We probably think it's just about muscle, but it's the kidneys getting stimulated, getting stretched, getting opened up. Now stop where it's comfortable. You could stop at your shins or your ankles, or come all the way down to where you can touch your toes or the floor in front of your feet. We're going to stay here for a moment and take some deep healing sound breaths into our lower back. Okay, let's just do a couple here. Let the head relax. And remember, the sound is choo, choo, choo. Choo. Now you can rock a little side to side very slowly and feel a little bit more one kidney than the other. Breathing into the kidneys. Just rocking side to side. And now bend the knees. Slowly, very slowly. Feel the stretching, the massaging of the kidneys as we move up back into vertical. Extending our hands, interlacing our fingers and extending our hands up to the heavens. Reach, reach, reach. And now we're going to go down to the right or to this side over here. Stop where it's comfortable. If you can't go all the way to your toe, just where is it comfortable to stop? It could be at the calf. Hold your calf. If it's the floor, you can hold your foot. Get a little leverage and feel that stretch is a little different and do a healing sound. And imagine that deep blue light infusing and those roots growing out of your kidneys, deepening. We're going to come over to the other side. Same thing, stopping at the calf, get a little leverage, or to the foot. Make a couple of healing sounds. Come on back to center. Bend your knees a little deeper, very slowly. You can do a healing sound as you come up or just inhale up. And down. My teacher, one of my internet teachers, is Dr. Yang. I'll show you his book. He taught this on one of the videos I have. And he says in China, nobody has back issues or kidney issues because they're always bending over, at least in the old days. You know, working the fields, harvesting with a scythe, picking up, you know, crops or whatever, sweeping. And he says they have really good kidney areas because of that. So bowing, just any kind of bowing, if you think of your kidneys when you bow, connect with your roots when we do the bow. And there's one more exercise. I'll show it quickly. It's really simple. It's connected to what we're just doing. Coming up and forward and down. And another way to sort of stretch and massage your kidneys. And don't do it if twisting is an issue, but that we did this last time where you twist and look down at your heel. This is a little gentler way of getting that. So you bring your hands to one side of your calf and raise the arm and look up. And you can feel a good, maybe a different stretch. Breathe out. Breathe in and switch sides. Raise the arm. Breathe out as you come to center. Breathe in as you come to center. Let's do one more. Breathe out. Deep breathing, breathe into center. Breathe out as you turn and look up. And pause. Press into the floor, bend the knees. Slowly rise. Keep that back nice and round. Feel the kidney area. Nice and open. So the hips come under, then the spine aligns, shoulders back and heads last. So we'll close with, this is also kidney exercise, the fountain that we do, but without the squat. So you're coming up the center, gathering the heavenly energy, and let it wash through the central channel, through the legs to the earth, fountain up. So you're digging down into the bubbling spring, bringing that water up the center line, up the three centers, gathering the heavenly energy. Let it wash through your mind, your head, heart, hara. And we'll just seal it there. Take a nice deep belly breath. Or two. Thank you all very much. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to work on myself in a more focused way. Okay, so we still have some time. If there's any questions or comments or insights. Let me see. Am I still sharing? No, I'm not sharing anymore, am I?
No, so I took the spotlight off.
Okay.
Liz has a question. Liz, you need to unmute.
The wiggle your thumbs bit sounded like something special. Can you comment on that?
Well, the thumb is where the meridian starts, lung meridian, and it flows. Yeah. So we're stimulating, and we also do this. We're stimulating, we're pushing our index finger into our thumb, or you could push it. It's kind of at the tips. Yeah, you're pushing your index fingers into, it's just stimulating, putting your attention, helping you pay attention to the area we're working on. So it's the lung into the lung, from the tip of the thumb into the lung. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure thing. So wiggling them is just a little, yeah, a little way to.
Jito has a question.
This is remarkable. We worked on two of the five sets of internal organs here. And I'm imagining that you concentrated on these two. They're kind of the first two in the series because building energy here it will have it downstream. And so I'm wondering if you could comment on what it would take to get the other three sets of organs into your routine here.
Actually, Jito, I started with immunity because it was, it's everybody's concerned about their immunity these days. So that was my starting place. And that led me to the kidneys and the lungs. So we could have started anywhere. I think if it was summer, I might have started with the spleen or the heart or something. but the winter is the time of kidneys. So, and people get sick more, they get the flu and stuff more in the winter, right? Or the fall, which is the lungs. So it just was perfect. And I would be happy to do my next program on the other elements. We're kind of already doing a little with the heart here and the liver here, and getting to kind of know where everything is, because it is all interconnected. If you make the liver strong, it's going to help everything. The spleen strong, it'll help everything. So probably it would be nice to do liver and spleen in the summer. Or no, the spring. Liver is spring. It's wood element. So maybe after Cesar or whoever in April or May.
Mhm.
Thank you. I would love to do
Yeah.
that. I
That
enjoy
makes sense. If we could do one that's appropriate to the season, and kind of put them through the year.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be really great. Thank you.
sure thing. Thank you. Was this a little bit easier than last week? Anybody? I thought maybe the opening when we were doing a lot of the bending forward might have been a little challenging for some people. The moving and bending.
I thought it was easier. Stefan has a question here.
Hi, Stefan.
You need to unmute Stefan.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that beautiful session. I never get sick. I never get flus or colds. I do often have mucus in my throat, and so I'm always clearing my throat. And I'm wondering if you have any suggestions.
X-Clear. If anybody knows X-Clear, it's a natural nose spray made out of xylitol. It really clears mucus.
Okay.
But the whole nose, the trachea, the bronchioles, the throat, it's all connected to lung meridian. So you could also use a neti pot, which is the breathing the salt, but I hate doing that. I'd rather do the other thing. So
Okay.
people will clear their nasal cavities or nasal passages out with just a salt saline solution.
Great. Thank you.
Because of you, Stefan, I have a stack of books here.
Wow.
I have many more books, but these all were kind of fun and interesting and nice books for learning about qi and using your qi, and both in a Japanese Aikido way and the Chinese. So I might as well just say this is one of my favorite teachers, Dr. Yang. He has a video. You could get it on YouTube. He's all over the place. He's very famous. He's a wonderful teacher. The Hara book is excellent for just the basic philosophy of the belly center in martial arts, especially. But this is also a classic. You guys probably know this book, The Web That Has No Weaver. This is like from the 70s. Yep, 1989 actually, when I started reading it, I guess. Here's Mantak Chia. He's also very well-known healing, Qigong healer type teacher. This one is a nice little book with the good pictures. So, okay, and just one more from the Japanese tradition. These are Ki Society, Aikido, Ki energy, but there's a lot of good healing stuff in them. And my practice in the 80s was Shiatsu, which is taken from the Shiatsu, is all about opening and clearing the meridians, and it came from China. So China is the mother of all this. Chinese medicine, but the Japanese did their own thing with it, and that was pretty nice too. So we check the time. Okay, oh, we're doing good. Okay, it's 6 or 7 minutes after. So are there any more questions, or was there anything in particular that was hard or unclear or difficult that you want to mention? And I can revamp the routine. So I'm experimenting too, exploring and experimenting.
Jito.
Yeah, I would just wanted to say that the diagrams that you put up at the beginning of the class are, they're, of course, you know, they're from your long experience, and you probably picked the clearest ones, but they are very helpful. And so I stored last week's images that you sent out, and I would love to have these as well, if you think that that's okay.
Yeah, that's why I make a PDF, so I can upload it after, and you guys can have it and follow it. Even if you don't have the video, you can follow it, because I have the routine on this one too.
Great.
I think I have the routine on the other one as well.
Yes. Yeah, you should do.
I put some names. The Chinese have fun, interesting names for things. Like this one is the soaring crane. Or you could say the soaring bird, and it really feels like that.
Right.
So I'll do that if that's helpful.
Yes, please.
So I like imagery too, Jito. If I can see it first in my mind, I can see it in my body.
Right.
It helps me connect and feel the organs, which is what we're trying to do. Really bring.
I could really feel my kidneys today. and that one stretch that you do, it does something that I don't usually do. So I was it was quite strenuous for me, but it was a good kind of stimulation. So thank you for your innovation here, for getting our bodies to move in new ways.
My pleasure. It's been fun. Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on to signing off? All right, I'm going to stop this recording here.